It's very common for solopreneurs to lose focus and motivation. Why? Hi, I'm Coach Anika. Welcome to Rewrite Your Story. In this episode, I will be sharing insights from my journey of entrepreneurship and my journey as a coach on why do we lose focus and motivation as solopreneurs. When we start on something with a lot of zeal and a lot of enthusiasm, but then somewhere along the way, we lose interest, we lose the focus. Why does this happen? Being a solopreneur is a challenging choice, and it's even tougher if you're walking this path for the first time or you're a first generation entrepreneur. You are the driver and the navigator of the car that is your business. Running and managing this business means you're wearing multiple hats. You're handling business development, marketing, accounting, the delivery of the projects. You're also managing the client relationships. It can be exhausting. You have to drive this car every day. And as solopreneurs, everything lands in terms of all of the decisions that you want to make on your shoulders. You want to decide on the routes that you want to take every day. You even need to maintain the condition of the car. Now, the car won't move if you don't. So when we lose focus, we lose motivation. We don't get up, get out, and drive the car, and things stop. I chose this path of entrepreneurship twice, leaving it midway due to losing focus. What I learned through the experience that I had and the journey that I had taken at both of these events helped me stay focused the third time around, which turned out to be a charm. So let's understand why this happens. You can't solve something without knowing the problem. For this, we need to go back to the beginning to why you decided to become a solopreneur. Now, there are three common scenarios that trigger the choice of becoming a solopreneur or even an entrepreneur. I've been through all three of them. Scenario number one, we see someone else as a successful entrepreneur or solopreneur, and we want the same for us. The lives of others, which they express through the material assets that they own, like the car that they drive, the house that they live in, or the vacations that they take, this defines our aspirations. We want to mirror it. Our desire to want the same becomes our motivation. We borrow the identities of others as a result of this comparison that we make between how we see our life and theirs. The first time I chose the path of entrepreneurship, I was surrounded by an affluent business owners and C-suite leadership type of community. I compared myself to who they were in status and what they had as an expression of their identity. I wanted the same. My first stint lost focus just a little after 1 year. The borrowed identities motivator, which was pushing me to drive the car, lacked resilience. It just didn't feel like it was me. So I stopped. Scenario number two. This is when the choice of becoming a solopreneur comes from a place of limitation and scarcity. We desire material gains to feel safe and secure because we see our life from a lens of not enough. Our belief of filling this void with a career choice to gain the material assets drives our motivation. The second time I embarked on the path of entrepreneurship, I had one picture in my mind that I wanted to bring to life, and that was my motivator. It was my dream car. Back then, I suffered with low self-esteem. I wasn't aware of it, but driving made me feel free and powerful. It made me feel independent. It made me feel secure. So during this second stint of being a solopreneur, I worked tirelessly and saved up for a full payment on the highest ticket priced item that I wanted to own in my assets at the time. But by the time that I had saved up all the money, something felt conflicted inside. I didn't want to spend the money now, not on a car at least. I felt like it had another more important purpose. So I didn't spend it on my car, and I lost focus on my business. I lost the motivation to keep driving it forward. And with that, the business was closed down and the car wasn't attained either. Brings me to scenario number 3. This is when we choose to become an entrepreneur because we're trying to prove something to someone. We're affected with the negativity of others' perceptions of our own abilities and capabilities. We want to prove them wrong. On my third stint at becoming a solopreneur, I had recently graduated as a foreign student, and the job prospects for a double master's, which is what I had attained by then, but I was over 30 years old, foreign country, which now only wanted to offer jobs to entry-level people with qualifications and experiences that were shorter than mine. And so it was really hard to get a job. The prospects were really slim, they were really light, really thin. And rejection after rejection on the employment opportunities, I was just getting frustrated and angry because I felt the rejection was a judgment of what I had to offer, and especially all of the investment that I had made into developing myself further. So the day that I received the last rejection, I'd had enough, and I said, screw this. I will prove it to the world that I can do this myself. I was fueled by the frustration of the situation that I found myself in and used it to drive my motivation to prove to others, I don't know who these others were, but prove to others that I didn't need them. Now, this third stint has recently celebrated its 3rd anniversary. It started with the scenario of wanting to prove the world wrong, but it went through an evolutionary growth along the way, and the motivation behind it changed. And that brings me to a very important point, that motivations can be redefined. The secret to my 3rd stint, not just surviving, but thriving, does not lie in any of the 3 scenarios that I've discussed in this episode. The secret lies in something much bigger, and that I will share in the following episode on What makes up a good motivation to stay consistently focused as a solopreneur? Here, I'd like to invite you to ask yourself, why did you decide to become a solopreneur? Do you relate to any of the three scenarios that were discussed in this episode? I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear your journey. Share your experiences in the comments below. Or if you'd like to chat, connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll find my contact details in the comments below as well. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Rewrite Your Story. Until then, take care and stay awesome.